Okay, so by now you should have watched my flip video, which is on my webpage. The next thing you are to do is you are to watch this screencast right here that goes over the instructions on how to do interactive number 1 and interactive number 2. And there was a handout for that for people to fill in as they went along. Now the next item of business is looking at this particular lab setup here. So when you look at this screen, you can see that we have something floating here in the water that you can click and drag out of the water and so on. Up here there are some places where you can toggle different things back and forth, mass and volume. And then we're going to talk about different substances. You can actually pick styrofoam, wood, ice, brick, or aluminum. So we're just going to stick with the way it is on the screen when we get there. But what you'll do is you'll click My Block. So there is this random block of whatever. Its initial mass is 2 and its volume is 5. Now, just by looking at this picture, you should be able to make a prediction about what the density of my block is. Because if this block is floating, I know that the density of this is less than 1. All right, how do I know that? Because the volume or the density of water is 1. So my block is floating, therefore the density of the block is less than 1. But what you can do is you're going to be, to answer some of those questions, you're going to be toggling some things back and forth to show how if you change the volume, what that does to the block. And you can see if you take it all the way to the right, it floats even higher to the surface. And so there's questions here when you're going to be, following your instruction sheet, what you do by moving these things back and forth. So once you get a feel for the program and answer those questions, you're going to click right here where it says Mystery. Okay, and you're going to be given 5 different blocks, A through E. All right, the volume of water starts at 100 liters, and we're going to do water displacement to figure out the volume of these cubes. All right, so let's say you start with block B, you drag it over here and place it on the scale, and you record the mass. Then what you do is you submerge the block into the water, and you record this number right here. Okay, and then you take the mass that you got on the scale and divide it by whatever the displacement here. So it started at 100. The displacement is actually 0.64. Okay, so I would take my mass, 0.64, divided by my displacement, my volume, which is 0.64. 0.64 divided by 0.64 comes out to be 1. So if you click here on Show Table, you would go down the list, and whichever one had a density closest to 1, that block is made out of that material. And as you could see right here, that happens to be water. So on your data table, you would put block E, you would record its mass, record its volume, and then you simply would record what type of material it is.